I don't know if you saw this.
No.
But there's a World Economic Forum panel, and let's listen to what they say about climate change and gender.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
And it's really interesting. Climate affects gender, gender affects climate. And Karin, you can speak to that a lot. You already sort of talked to us about this huge movement that you've created around queer and climate this week.
Queer and gender affects climate, and climate affects gender. This is a very serious discussion about climate change and its effects on sexual identity, Kurt. And let me just tell you folks that when it warms up, nothing can stop me from hiking up my skirt, my shirt, and showing my tits. There's nothing.
Get this penis off. It's too hot out.
No, on the other, no. When it's too cool, when it's too hot, I like to cool myself off. You know, I cool down. Good humor ice cream. No, Kurt, I need a dick.
You cool off with a dick?
I need another guy's dick.
That's a lot of weight to carry around for me.
My dick just simply isn't enough. That's right, folks. On a hot day, turned me gay. That's all it takes. And in the cold, I become an ice age alpha male. I live dangerously like an animal. I stop shopping at Whole Foods and only go to Ralph's.
Okay, well, gay is not a gender, so that's pretty ignorant what you just said.
If you think climate can change you to gay, I have news for you. You're already gay.
No, it's more profound. It can change you literally into an entirely new gender. Gay, you should do that regularly. I'm talking about changing your entire paradigm. Whoa.
All I'm saying is you can blame your parents. You can blame genetics. You can blame school, and you can blame TV, but you can't blame a sunny day for turning gay. You just can't do that.
Or you can thank them for their service.
Food companies put so many hormones in our food nowadays that you're now eating transgender's chicken. That you are, and nobody can tell why they cross the road anymore.
So you mean they don't cross the road? They can't walk.
You know, an 11-year-old kid is not supposed to have a full beard in class. She doesn't deserve that.
I mean, it sounds like they're talking about a magic spell.
It really sounds like intention,
like a vision board. Like, yeah, gender and climate. That sounds like some kind of magic.
Here's the magic.
And it's really interesting. Climate affects gender, gender affects climate.
Exactly.
And Karin, you can speak to that a lot.
Exactly. What is that? I wish I had a longer clip.
If you said gender, if you said gender affects climate, or climate affects gender, that's pretty crazy, but I could see them doing that. But the one where you go gender
affects climate?
How so? I just like...
This is the WEF. And this is why everybody's talking. Hey, by the way, I just saw an article about Disney is now recognizing that their ESG shit is hurting their brand. And it's costing them money. I know someone who works for Disney, and now things are not going well for Disney.
Yeah.
And so now the guy's afraid he might not be able to pay his mortgage.
Oh, my God. Aren't you going to tell me Ukraine's losing?
Yeah. That's coming up next. So... yes, so so all this stuff, do transgenders exist? Is it a thing? And do we need to help understand them? Yes. Is it should it be in the topic of conversation the way it is? No. And why is it? It is because it's coming from the top down. Because rapacious companies that are raping the earth and screwing their workers like to wrap themselves in a pride flag, just like the military, just like the CIA, because it makes them seem virtuous when they're actually the rapers of the world. And that's why they have to force feed all this stuff on us and make us accept 184 genders and all this, everything.
Well, in fairness, nobody I know knows what the hell the WEF is. Every time I bring it up.
That's right. They don't know.
Besides you and Roseanne and Michael Malice.
People don't know who's really controlling. People don't know that Bill Gates actually controls the debate on YouTube and in our culture around vaccines. They don't know that he actually has that power. He does. I'm not allowed to say anything that contradicts the WHO when it comes to anything. Who was the number one funder of the WHO? Bill Gates. the former head of the WHO admitted that they have to go beg for money from billionaires so they can have a budget to function, the WHO.
What are they, the president?
So they get the money. That's right. So they get the money from Bill Gates. And then they said, and then we have to do what they say. So why do you think Bill Gates is the #1 funder of the WHO? So they have to do what he says. So Bill Gates gives money to the WHO. He tells them what to say. They say a thing. And then YouTube and Google tell me I can't go against that. And so that's how Bill Gates gets to control me and gets to control the debate, because the only place you're going to have a debate about vaccines or anything is on a place like YouTube that has any kind of a platform where people hear it. You're not going to hear it on corporate news because they get all their money from Big Pharma, and that's why they always lie to you. They lied to you about ivermectin. They lied to you about hydroxychloroquine. They lied to you about COVID. They lied to you about vaccines. They lied to you about lockdowns. They lied to you about masks. They lied to you about Fauci. They lied to you about the people who they said were lying, which was Joe Rogan. He wasn't lying. He was telling the truth. So people don't know anything. And this
He's a jerk for that. What is he? One of these guys is just asking questions.
So here was my retort. I said, sure, climate affects gender and gender affects climate, but it sure as hell isn't going to affect private jet travel, global oil extraction, or the expansion of over 800 U.S. military bases worldwide. Am I right?
Yeah. I'd say you might be right. It affects gender. Imagine you're that well off that's a thing.
That's a thing that you have
mental space. This is how rich the top are.
That's right.
They can think about nonsense all day.
That's it. So here, Wandering Jack Wolf says they aren't going to demonstrate how it's happening using special effects. Are they going to show us a slide or show us something?
Because the metaverse. Look, you've got to get your mind right now and start believing in enhanced reality, and the goggles are coming out from Meta or whoever pretty soon. They got the metaverse is way better. Just start believing the stuff now, and then they'll have the thing you put on.
And by the way, when I say that the WHO lied about all that stuff, I mean not according to the WHO and not according to the FDA or the CDC. They, of course, say all that stuff is true, and that the people who contradict the WHO are the liars, and that vaccines are safe and effective. And that especially the COVID-19 vaccine will keep you from, it doesn't stop the transmission. Why would you think a vaccine would stop the transmission and contraction of a virus that you're taking the vaccine from? It doesn't, but it does slow it. That's what they say. And it will keep you from being seriously hospitalized, sick, or death. And that's the beauty. And there I just said it.
We're stretching out all the definitions, including that of effective.
And and so what? They had to change the literal definition of what a vaccine is. So what? Why do you care? Why are you asking questions, Jimmy?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
The just asking question. Hey, Mr. Questions over here, just asking questions. Well, here. When are we going to stop these guys who think they get
to ask questions?
That's my favorite saying. He's one of these guys who's just asking questions. Is that a thing in your world that's like a form of evil? Like what on earth are you talking about?
Asking questions is now bad.
You know not to do that.
You know not to ask questions. That's what I was said about who's the guy who they thought gave the thumb drive?
Seth Rich?
Seth Rich. I was on a panel with at the Young Turks with Cenk Uygur and Ben Mankiewicz, and they were like, Jimmy, Seth Rich. I go, hey, can anybody remember the last time journalists weren't allowed to ask questions about an unsolved murder investigation of a high-profile target? Can anybody remember when the last time that was? That you're not allowed to ask questions?
Even JFK, they could.
Yes, you could always ask questions about JFK. You were not allowed to bring up or ask questions about Seth Rich or the Washington Post. Jeff Bezos would have a hack like Dave Weigel write a smear piece on you, which is what he did with me when all I did was cover the obvious questions that surrounded Seth Rich's murder. They still don't know who did it, and you're still not allowed to ask questions about it. Quit asking questions.
You're going to help the Trump campaign by asking legitimate questions? Trump, you're telling me the one thing you care about more than anything in this universe, including climate change, is Trump. That's not how you feel, Jimmy? That's where that's why you need to be suppressed and hacked, frankly. And if you're listening, Mossad, Please hack Jimmy.
We're doing live comedy shows in Oxnard, California, Venice, California, Palmdale, California, Omaha, Nebraska, Des Moines, Milwaukee, Lansing, Michigan, Bend, Oregon, Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Washington, and Boston. Plus, we're going to put a date in Edmonton, Canada, plus Vancouver. See ya. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for all those tickets.